So I had a question recently about applying some of these fingerstyle improvisation ideas that I've been talking about to a minor blues. And since I've also been talking about standards a little bit, I thought I would do a jazz tune in a minor key. And this is one of my favorite tunes. It's Grant Green's Idle Moments. The tune is actually written by the pianist and arranger Duke Pearson, but it's on the Grant Green record, Idle Moments, and it's great. And I've recorded a solo instrumental version of this on one of my records, but let me just walk through the chord, the tune, calling out the chord changes, and then we'll look at some ways to improvise over those chord changes. But just to get the overview, it's in A minor, and the main chords are A minor, B minor 7 flat 5, or B half diminished, E7, F major 7, and F dominant 7. That's kind of it. There's really only 5 chord changes. The A minor does have this descending bass line, which is also the descending bass line in My Funny Valentine, and of course, Stairway to Heaven. But I'm not sure who got there first. Probably the person who wrote My Funny Valentine. Oh, it's also in Michelle, the Beatles song. Anyway, it implies the sound of A minor to A minor 7, A minor with a major 7, to A minor 7, to A minor 6. But once we get past the main, the melody of the tune, we're just going to treat it all as A minor, which you can do. So the chords go like this. You've got A minor, to B minor 7 flat 5, to E7, back to A minor. This section repeats. B minor 7 flat 5 with a passing chord to E7. Now back to A minor, to D minor, B minor 7 flat 5, E7, F major 7, B minor 7 flat 5, E7, F7, and then one more time B minor 7 flat 5, to E7, to A minor. So those are the chord changes. So we've basically got the first 4 bars are A minor for 2 bars, and then a bar of B minor 7 flat 5 to E7. And that repeats. You get the same stuff again. Again to the B, to the E7. And now things start to change for the second half. A bar of A minor, a bar of D minor, E7, F major 7. Now the last 4 bars, B minor 7 flat 5 to E7 to F7 for a bar, and then one more time. So it's a lot of the same stuff, and you can play all those chords in open position, and for the majority of it, you can just play A minor licks. So here are the root, flat 3rd, and 5th of A minor, and you can connect them up with the scale steps of A minor, and you can keep going. So here's root 2, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, and root of A minor. And you can also include the major 7 instead of the flat 7 of A minor. And of course, there's the blue note, flat 5 leading to 5. And so those are all the notes. That'll all over A minor. All those kind of notes. It's just playing scale tones and chord tones over an alternating thumb. Now when you're on the B minor 7, there are some chord tones that are easily available from open position. If you play the B minor like this, just grabbing the root and the flat 7, and the 3rd is here, the flat 3rd. You've got the root, you've got the flat 7 here on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. You've got the open B, that's the root. Here's the flat 3rd of the chord, and here's the flat 5 of the chord. So there are your most important chord tones. And again, you can connect them up with scale steps. There's the root, flat 2, flat 3, 4, flat 5 of B minor 7. So any of that stuff is fair game. And you'll notice that they're all the same notes that we're playing over A minor. We're just putting the emphasis on different notes. On A minor, we're emphasizing these 3 notes because they're the root and flat 3rd and 5th of A minor, and we're connecting them up with the scale steps in between. But on B minor, 7 flat 5, we're emphasizing the root, the flat 3rd and the flat 5 of B minor, 7 flat 5, and connecting them up with scale steps in between, which happen to be chord tones of A minor. So it's all about where you put the emphasis, and you want to put the emphasis on the strong beats on the chord tones, at least when you're starting out, to kind of frame everything and get everything sounding like you're playing the notes that belong with each chord. So there's chord tones emphasizing the flat 3rd and root of A minor, and then so there's emphasizing chord tones of B minor, and then landing on E and emphasizing a chord tone of E. When you're on the E chord, there's the 3rd, the 5, the flat 7, and the flat 9 of E. And filling in the scale steps. 3, 4, 5, flat 6, flat 7, root, and flat 9 of E. And again, it's all the same notes, but we're just putting the emphasis now on the chord tones of E. So A, B, E. And so you could play kind of the same collection of notes and the same kinds of phrases on all 3 chords. Did a better job the second time around sticking to the chord tones. But that's the idea. So once you've got that, you can also think about landing your phrases. And there I'm using a chromatic passing tone to get from the 5th of A minor down to the flat 3rd of B minor 7 flat 5. Using a scale step to get to the 5th of E. So you're trying to play a phrase that lands on a chord tone when you make the chord change. And then for the second 4 bars of the tune, it's the same thing. And now we've got a measure of A minor, and then it goes to D minor. So the thumb is going to come up and be alternating here between the root and the 5th. And here are some chord tones. Here's your root, your flat 3rd, and your flat 7 of D minor. And again, it's in the same world, the same collection of notes. We're just emphasizing this is the root and this is the flat 3rd of D minor now. A minor, D minor, back to B minor 7 flat 5, flat 5. Going chromatically from root to flat 7, and then landing on the 3rd, E7. And there's some F major 7. There's the 5th, the 3rd, and the root, and the major 7 of the F. Scale steps connecting them up, 5th, 6th, and major 7 of F. So we got all those notes to choose from. And then B minor 7 flat 5, E7, and then F7, which you could play this way as well, just so that you've got that flat 7 in there. minor 7 to E7 to A minor. So it's so much of the same stuff over and over. It's just kind of landing on those signposts, like making the change to D minor, which you could also play up here to get a few more options. Like if you wanted to get the thumb to alternate, so. And also, because the B minor 7 leads to the E7, and actually sort of, in some ways, functions as just an E7 sus to the E7. If you go from A minor to D minor, it doesn't hurt if you just kind of jump to and play 2 bars of E7, or actually play just a full bar of E7 to the F, instead of dividing it 2 beats of B minor 7 and 2 beats of E7, but that's getting kind of into the weeds and the details. The idea is just to figure out where the thumb is going to alternate over the open chord shapes. That's the first thing. And then where are the chord tones for that open chord shape. And then what are the scale steps that connect up the chord shapes? And then playing phrases that start on one chord and then land on the next chord. Or a better example, maybe, right? Because there's chord tone of B minor, chord tone landing on chord tone of E7, landing on a chord tone of F. So it's putting those things together, and you can play pretty simply within that, and it still sounds really musical. So. Get as elaborate as you want, but that's a good framework to start from, because if you can frame out those chords, you can get busier. So on. So having that framework is the key to adding in more, because you still have to hit those signposts. Even when you're playing more chromatic notes and you're playing more of a flow of eighth notes, you still got to be able to sort of land on those chord tones and feel like things have direction. So that's some ideas about how to play on a sort of a minor blues ballad like that. So try some of those ideas out. I hope they're fun to work on. If you got any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I would love to hear from you. And I'll see you next time.